Yep, you read that right. I did play House Flipper 2. Because believe it or not, even though my main hobbies include committing war crimes and violating the Geneva Convention, my other hobbies include interior design and picking out wall decor to fit my subtle pastel goth vibes. That being said, an unfortunate truth is that I can't afford flipping houses because, you know, economy. So I figured that instead of putting myself 50k in the hole to even pay a down payment, I could instead empty out what remained of my bank account to do it digitally. By the way, stay tuned because I left a little pepperoni secret at the end for you, a little funny goofing gaff, so just stay tuned. House Flipper 2 is a sequel to the cult classic game Home Improvement for Super Nintendo. Yeah, that's the one. In this game, you play as a person I didn't look at, or David, who looks like he belongs on a list. As David, you go to people's rundown crack dens to spiff them up into homes and make you realize that you will never be able to afford a living situation better than a dumpster behind Taco Bell. While everyone had their eyes on the VR experience for Five Nights at Freddy's, which I can't play because I don't own VR, I was busy scoping out the cult classic that is House Flipper 2 within the deep sea of other great releases that happened at the end of this month for some star-spangled reason. Like, what's with all these game releases at the end of December? Were you just trying to not compete with Peeping Door Manager? House Flipper 2 is that exact cult classic I was looking for, because it is a great expansion upon the original concept that House Flipper 1 provided. Every mechanic is back, but better. Painting is now actually painting, as opposed to just doing like a very slow version of painting your walls in The Sims. Your hammer now actually makes holes in walls, and now furniture placing can be done on a grid, so you can actually place it in the corner and not theoretically in the corner. All these improvements may sound minor, but in a game like House Flipper 2, these changes are very noticeable, as the game is built on little moments of just these minor tweaks to make sure that your gamer zone is built for all your non-grass touching needs. But if it's the major changes you're looking for, the story missions actually have, you know, story to them and voice acting, to my bewilderment, which is why I hung up on every phone call I ever received, which for some reason doesn't stop them from talking anyways. Here's a fun fact: I really don't like story in games where story doesn't belong, or in games where the story for some reason takes up more time than playing the game itself. And House Flipper 2 is a victim of the former. While I can definitely appreciate them trying to add a little bit more life and personality to their game by having voice lines with all these voice acted characters, I myself would rather they just shut up and let me clean their attic. So can someone please explain to me why the hang up button and player input means that they should talk anyways? Like, I swear to God, Grandma, if you continue to talk even though I hung up on you, I will send your ass to a nursing home. That being said, I do appreciate what they did with environmental storytelling, which is how I preferred they handled this game. For example, one of my favorite missions involved you going into the room of somebody who turned all their health issues into their entire personality, complete with anime posters across every inch of wall, enough trash to make Oscar the Grouch feel funny, and mystery bed stains. In just one glance at this room, you have an exact read of what kind of personality you're dealing with here, and it definitely explains the random tire marks and the fact that the microwave is for some reason hiding underneath the bed. This kind of storytelling is what this game needed, not the phone calls I can't skip, this one. So, while I do appreciate them trying, I would have preferred they just spent more time with this rather than they spent with the dialogue. That being said, despite the gameplay being relatively formulaic and generally speaking just being like rinse and repeat, same process, no one mission ever felt the same, and I was having fun with each individual surrounding area and just toying around with what worked and what didn't. Like, the missions go from coffee and bookshop to Super Turbo Gamer Stoner Zone, complete with basement setting and D&D. It's honestly astonishing to me that a game about cleaning up trash and making things look pretty is a fun game for me, considering the fact that I sometimes forget to clean my own room. Yes, I see the irony in that. This game made chores fun. Like, I struggle to do the dishes, but this game has me out here making beautiful houses for gated communities for the 1%ers. It's nuts. Speaking of nuts, House Flipper 2 ended up getting one of the best additions that this game could ever see happen. That addition being an official Sandbox implementation. And they didn't cut corners on this either. Not only can you build whatever house shape you want in any way you like, but you can also add trash to it in mission objectives, so you can make your own missions for other people to play. Not to mention, there's seemingly no real limit vertically as far as high as you can build. At least that's what I noticed when I started building stairways to heaven. Also, picture frames now let you put in custom images, so I can make my perfect Peter Griffin shrine. Don't judge me. The only thing I could really ask for at this point is more roof options, because just having triangular roofs feels kind of limiting. I wish I had dome roof options, because domes would be really sick. I also stumbled upon a little glitch where you can use stairs to break the limits of the outside border of the map, so you can kind of build out there after doing that, which I'm not going to complain about it. It allows me to make background settings, which I actually would rather they just leave in the game for that reason alone. Like, why don't they do like a limited play area, but they allow you to build in the outside surrounding space as much as you like, so long as it fits on the island? I think that would be completely fine. Plus, you'll get more room for creativity. Speaking of creativity, I think it's about time I told you all about that special secret I alluded to at the beginning of the video. Are you ready? The answer is no, you're not, because you're not prepared for the amount of hours and effort I decided to put into one bit. So prepare thine eyes to experience the one best house ever built in House Flipper 2. Are you ready? Here it is, the Humble Chode! Well, what are you waiting for? Go in, go take a look. This isn't a request, get in the house. In the left chamber, we have the living room, complete with gaming sets, TVs, and the couch, and, well, 2 lights that kind of light up the room. Sorry, I made the room a little bit too big, but I hope you can still enjoy it. And of course, every inch of these walls lined with modern art. In the right chamber, we have the kitchen, complete with a dining room, a nice little kitchen counter area with, of course, the most important piece of all, a shrine dedicated to Paul Blart. But that's not even the best part, because if we go up the stairs inside the living room, you'll be on the balcony with umbrellas, a nice little resting chair and table, and of course a beautiful view of the ocean to remind you how lonely and desolate you are. I've personally spent hours on this location. We have the bedroom, where I have decorated it to fit my needs, including floral wallpaper, a Supremo gamer PC set, a cozy bed right next to the wall, and Paul Blart flesh mold. No, you cannot ask why I have so many Paul Blart images. And finally, we have the attic. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a one-night stand stay in your house for longer than the 2 minutes it took to do the deed? Well, for this reason, we have equipped the house with a diving platform at the back of the house. So if someone really overstays their welcome, you can shove them right off into the warm embrace of the abyss. And that concludes the house tour. So what do you think? Pretty cool place, right? What's that? Oh, the red stains on the floor over there? Yeah, don't worry about that. That's just red paint. You know, because, you know, red and blue, it makes purple. Why are you still looking over there? Hey, wait a minute. I tried to warn you, man, but you just didn't listen. What? Did you think that 1,000 subscribers just magically came from an algorithm? Because you gotta be realistic. Well, this has been the Bottom Dweller. Happy New Year.